Praise the Lord, saints. This is Elder Adrian Heyman. Truly, it is great to be home once more. Definitely want to be with my wife, even if she has to go to the hospital, and they allowed me to stay in the room with her. But it's so good to be home. And right now, she's resting. I was thinking about with everything that's going on, half a world away in Iran. We have to be careful not to focus too much on what's going on there and forget about everything else that's taking place. And this is not to join in partisan politics or anything of that nature, but to see the situation for what it is. The Bible said there'll be wars and rumors of wars, but the end is not yet. At the same time, there are things that are taking place that are devastating to people that we really can't feel because we're not involved in it. You have to understand, we are protected in many ways by two oceans. They almost serve as moats in the medieval sense, as you hear stories about certain people building moats around their castles so that no one can come in. That the only place where they can come in is a drawbridge. And we're kind of like that even today. That regardless of what's taking place on the border with Mexico, a lot of people that would have loved to do something to us just haven't been able to do so because of this huge barrier on both our western and eastern flanks. The Atlantic Ocean on the east and the much bigger Pacific Ocean on the west. And sometimes that also leads us to a false sense of security and that we shouldn't concern ourselves with anybody else because, after all, we're oceans away from them. But that is exactly the wrong way that we have to think about this. Like it or not, we're a part of this world. And whatever takes place over in Europe, over in the Middle East, over in Eastern Asia, it will eventually happen here too, as well as things that are happening in the Southern Hemisphere, whether it's Africa, whether it's Australia, whether it's South America. So we should be really keeping our ears open for any developments that take place over and above what's going on currently with Iran. For instance, no one is saying anything really about the ongoing conflict in the Ukraine. You hear very little in the news about it. You can go through an entire news story session. People are still being killed there. Through bombs, through guns, through whatever else is taking place. There are places that are still being, as I said, bombed. And this is in the middle of their winter. The Ukrainian winter, which is not like a winter in Southern California, believe me. But whether you okay the aggression that Russia has towards Ukraine or whether you abhor it, there are people that are being killed, even as we speak, on the Russian side, on the Ukrainian side. And possibly this may be a good thing for Russia to stay out of the news so that no one has to keep harping on them for what is perceived to be inhumane actions against the Ukraine. So now they don't have to be front page news anymore. It's now further south, and they're not involved in it. But we should pray. We should keep tabs of things that are taking place. That Russia does want to annex the Ukraine, or at least large portions of it. And Ukrainians want to be an independent people. Now, between those two stances, nothing's going to happen until and unless some more people end up paying with their lives. So we should pray for those that are caught in the middle of all this. We should pray that what's taking place there gets wrapped up in a way that it doesn't mean the end of the Ukraine as a country. But again, we have to be vigilant with that and keep abreast of these situations. Taiwan. There's no war happening in Taiwan, but China is still threatening. It hasn't stopped since bombs began falling on Tehran. China still wants Taiwan. And this has been ongoing for decades. If anyone doesn't know the story, it's very simple. The communists at the end of World War II were beginning to take over China. And there was one general, or at least a general, that essentially led the remnant of the people away from the mainland of China. And they settled on Taiwan. And Taiwan became a bastion of anti-communist politics. Whereas the mainland, which right now has 1.4 billion people on it or in it, still considers Taiwan as a rebel, as something to bring back to the fold. And they're not going to finish. They're not going to stop until Taiwan is taken over. What does that mean for Americans? Well, there's two things. Number one, Taiwan makes most of the world's chips. The phone that you're holding, the computer that you're looking at, possibly the TV that you're watching, as well as many, many, many other things, including cars and other things, are made with chips that, by and large, came from Taiwan. Remember, we used to joke about made in Taiwan. Oh, that must not be that good. But we're using so many of these chips that are made in Taiwan that that joke has kind of been retired. And Taiwan has always traditionally been in good stead with the United States. Mainland China, not as much so. So if China takes over Taiwan, then it makes our job, our economy, much more fragile. Because now, if China wasn't holding the cards, isn't holding the cards now, they're going to hold the cards later. Right now, China makes most of the rare earth minerals that we use for various technological products. So they were already over a barrel. If Taiwan is captured, it'll be even more so. These are things we have to think about, saints. We can't let those things pass us by because we're looking at Iran and what's going on there. Let's say what's going on there. No one is saying anything about the Palestinians anymore. Very rarely is there a mention of them. There used to be something going on almost every day, definitely every week. You don't hear about that now. Places in Gaza are still devastated. And contrary to popular belief, Iran is still operating. Not Iran, I'm sorry, scratch that. Hamas, there you go. Hamas is still operating. They may be decimated. They may have been stripped of much of their material. Many of the people that belong to Hamas are now dead. Yes. But Hamas is still operating. And because of that, you have to still be careful. Not just of Hamas, but of the Palestinian people as a result. As I said, many people are still living in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip area. Why? Because it's their home. Most of it's been destroyed, yes. Bombed out, reduced to nothing but rubble. If anything's standing, there's holes in the roofs or in the walls and so on. But people are still living there. Why? Because it's their home. It's their home. As I said, these are things we have to think about, saints. Remember what's going on. And I'll talk to you later. May God bless you. May He keep you. Love you all in Jesus' name.